great time. Isn't it wonderful? It was wonderful.
I had a
And the
great
McGoverns
time.
were terrific.
Well, you know,
They were very nice people, and I won't forget it. And I'm hope everybody's past that. I don't know what they're going to do with that monument. I think they're going to rectify that.
Well,
and bring the monument over to, you had Pat Casey on anyway.
Right. Well,
they're going to bring it over on his property, I think. Which, you know something, I would want that. If it were me, I'd want that on my property. I'd want that near my restaurant. I was looking at the parking lot yesterday, and then they have another section in the back where they do weddings.
Yeah.
They take
That's
pictures.
a beautiful
and all
place.
That. But I would want Paul's. I knew Paul, and I would definitely want that on my property.
Here's a question for you.
You know.
Here's a real good question for you. Why? I have a few. Maybe you can help me out. This thing came about. This, the approaching of, Pat Casey was on the approaching of the mayor to do this, to rename the Miller Green to the McGovern, the McGovern Senior, God rest his soul. And what really bothers me is, I'm glad Pat Casey came on. She was, she was able to come on and said her piece.
I listened to her.
Okay. What was nice was that we were at the McGovern yesterday. I spoke to one of the daughters. She was and I told her what we were doing. We stand in Veterans Alliance and Grosso, and I'm telling you, she was very happy that this was going on. One thing that really upset me was, and I said this to her, I said, I don't think that you deserve, you had to give an apology to anyone, and neither did, the veterans. No one.
Yeah.
You know who I haven't seen an apology from is the city council. Why? That's what they're doing now, and this is bothering me big time. This is a little too late here. Even though this is the problem. They fix the problem after they make a big mistake and it's a big stink, but they don't say I'm sorry. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a boo-boo that's going to keep coming back.
Well, saying sorry is closing the door after the horse is out of the barn. I mean, the thing is that it shouldn't have gotten as far as it did. Obviously, somebody didn't do their homework, and if they did, they certainly didn't care. But let's chalk it up to experience and say it was an oversight somewhere along the line. If it was you or me, I'd get up and I'd say, I don't know what I was thinking about, you know what I mean? But enough people knew what was going on. Certainly, they should have blocked it. But now I think they're going to do something now.
Here's what's going on now, and this is by it's a newly proposed requirement for renaming parks, buildings, streets, properties, and it gained initial and unanimous backing from the City Council's Ordinance Committee on Monday night. No kidding, and it was voted 5-0 vote on that committee, and they're going to move that proposal to the first reading at the City Council. But before that happens, what they say is that the Corporation Council has to they have to be instructed. They have to review the amendment to Chapter 66. That's where it falls under Chapter 66, right, and of the city ordinances, and they want to make sure that it's legal, and the need for the refinement of the whole thing. What really got me was Mayor Correa issued his support, but through his newly administrator, I guess. He's supporting the
Chapin Lane.
Yeah.
Chapdelaine,
I've been trying to say the gentleman's name, but I know it's Adam W. Chapdelaine. I think it's what it looks like. And the ordinance was proposed by the Vice President, Council Vice President Ray Haig, and he put out the petition, and he wants a filing criteria to be met now. So what's going to happen from this is that if you want to change something. If you want to come about the city and say, look, this parcel here, we want to name it such and such, or whatever you want to do with it, you're going to have to, there's going to be it's almost like the zoning board. It's going to be called a planning board, and it's going to be held publicly. And you're going to have to bring to them some money. There's going to be costs now, and there's going to be the required paperwork that you're going to have to fill out. And they have, Councilor Haig is saying that the reason for this now is because the renamings of several city schools, which I'm not too happy about either, and the controversy of the rededication of the Miller Green. Now, what he said was that the ordinance, the board was going to need to evaluate the petition. They're going to support the documents, and they're going to base the recommendation on what's best for the city. Okay, and the reason he wants to do this is because he said that the ordinance is going to contain timetables to avoid a rushed process, which they rushed before with this last saga of what we had going on. But you know what really got me was that the council, the whole council, and this is what really got me this morning. The renaming of the David Miller Green for World War II veteran Corporal David Miller Green was a result of officials dedicating a monument in November to late Paul McGovern Sr., owner of McGovern's Restaurant. And the councilors, it doesn't say one councilor now, councilors say they didn't know about the city's dedication of the Miller Green. You have so many people on that council, Roland, that's been there probably since the 90s, right? We have a few back now, right?
Shame on them.
We have a few back that were there in the 90s when this thing was dedicated. You know, so it's still continuously passing the buck. No one's taking the real blame for it, and there's still no I'm sorry there, okay? The mayor is going to be establishing a formal policy for everything, you know, that goes on with this now. And it's like if you want a request for an additional name or a sign to be added to it, which, you know, makes a lot of sense. But how come yourself, you got all this information, I was able to get other information, and we found all this stuff that was accessible to the public about what was going on. Now, why, my question to you is, why couldn't the council do the same thing? Why didn't they do the same thing?
You'd probably have to ask them.
I asked one.
You know, yeah, no, but then you have to ask the others.
I'm going to have to bring them all.
Well, I wouldn't bring them all in, but you can go to them. You can go to the city council meeting and follow up on it and say, I'd like to ask you about such and such, and see what kind of a reaction you get. They'll either blow you off or just tell you to get lost, or, you know, I guess that's the same thing. But the thing is, that would be my recommendation. But to try to second guess what their motives were, I don't know. I don't know. I would go to the source, and I would say to them, you know, it's like a lot of things going on in Fall River. I mean, there's no justification for it. It just goes. It just happens. And if you don't like it, that's tough. Why do they endure what they endure over there? It's an incredible situation. And I mean, it's like I'm not going to say it's got a death wish. I was born and raised in Fall River. It's a great city, but I mean, I'm the guy, and if you will, I don't care what anybody out there says. You want to debate an issue with me, I'll debate it with you, because I can point, you know, there are things that I could ask questions about too. What are you going to do about the landfill? To me, that's a priority thing.
Absolutely.
I'm not worried about, you know, this will take care of itself, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
But I want to know what you're going to do with that landfill. Does anybody out there know? What are you going to do with the old Globe Manufacturing Building? That sits on toxic land. You know, well, what are you going to do with the old incinerator? It's just going to sit there forever.
Well, they build a house around it.
You know, what are you going to do about the unemployment? Now, again, you got me going, but the thing I'm saying to you is there are bigger fish to fry than this thing. Way too much time is spent on this.
Yeah.
It's over. Move on.
Yeah.
Now, unemployment is an issue. Money in the city is an issue. Tax increase is an issue. These are the things that they should be talking about. Instead, they don't want to do that.
Well, how are they going to do
that? What they want to do is they want to debate
wait,
things and they want to argue with each other, backbite and what have you, instead of saying, look, you know, I represent the constituency of, when you run for council in Fall River, it's for everybody. It's not like New Bedford,
correct,
where you have a certain area.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're a city council all over. But
listen, you know what? I'm starting to get a little heated now. I'm starting to get a little heated.
No, but see, that doesn't get anybody getting heated.
It's not that. No, I have coffee here and it's hot. The lights, but you know what?
No, I'm saying
it's
insulting more than anything else.
What we talked about is, and this is the thing, the issues that are going on now. We haven't had a president of the council since January 23rd.
Okay.
Okay. The council's spending time on voting for this president now. We haven't got past all your issues that you're talking about. The council's not.
That's got me puzzled, Chris, and I'll tell you why. I don't think that should be an issue at all, because it's more of a figurehead than anything else. The presidency of the city council only comes into play when the mayor resigns or dies. And then the president of the council becomes